everyone, what's up? Well, hope you all missed me. Been kind of slowing down on the uploads because I've been busy since school started for me. But it's only about a course. It's basically Monday, Wednesday from 8:30 to 11:30, so it's pretty manageable. So, as I promised, today we're going to do Tarantula Mythbuster video 36. So, continuing on with the more popular series, we are going to be touching the Cyriocosmus genus. A lot of requests from people asking me to do this one, and I feel it's best for me to do one since I do own two in my collection, namely the Cyriocosmus C.perezmiliesi, the Peruvian Dwarf, and the Cyriocosmus C.elegans, the Trinidad Dwarf. So, I did all the stuff on the board, what I wanted to describe. Yeah, this is not for you guys to look at. That's pretty much my schoolwork, what I need to do for the next month, because my course is only about a month long. It's about 2 3-hour courses twice a week, sorry. So without further ado, let's get started. So as I said, this is going to be a very detailed video of the Cyriocosmus genus. So we're going to look at most of the species that are available in the hobby, which are these ones right here. The Bertae, the Chicoy, Elegans, Litsi, C.perezmiliesi, Rite, Salatus, Litsi species Venezuela, species French Guiana, and Venezuelensis. So all of these 10 species that I'm going to be describing to you are going to apply directly to this video. So I'm going to be more talking to you about from personal experiences with the Elegans and the C.perezmiliesi, since you know I own one. Then we're going to talk about the characteristics of the species and what they're famously known for. The pronunciations, the common names. I'm going to spend a little more time about that because it's worth describing. The availability, I'll talk about where you can get them, the sizes, the mature males, the growth rate, the enclosure setups, the care sheet, the temperament, and already did some work on the breeding and recommendations. Okay, so now about the characteristics of the species. Well, Cyriocosmus are pretty much well known for being the dwarf tarantula because these are one of the smallest genus in the tarantula hobby. The Elegans is the smallest member of the genus. They get around about 1.5 inches to around 2 inches for a mature female, and a mature male will only achieve a maximum size of 1 inch. How incredibly small. And just figuring that the most largest species of tarantulas available in the hobby is a Theraphosa blondie, Apophysis, and Disturbi, which get around the 10 to 12 inches in lifespan. So talk about a major difference between the two. But it's really easy to care for. So, as I said, they're dwarf species, and probably the most unique feature that you'll probably see in almost every Cyriocosmus genus is that little heart-shaped patch of hair on the abdomen, as you probably saw in my previous video where I showed my C.perezmiliesi, where I had to transfer her because of her substrate becoming all moldy. So we're now going to look at Tarantula Canada's website, and we're going to look at pictures to see what they actually look like. Okay, so I'm going to go on to their photo gallery. Alright, so here is the Cyriocosmus Bertae that's described by C.perezmiliesi in 1998 in Peru and Brazil. As you can see, it has a heart-shaped patch of hair on the abdomen. This is a Chicoy spiraling from Brazil. Looks pretty nice. This is the Chicoy female. Kind of looks like your C.elegans a little bit. That's the C.elegans mature male, also known as a Trinidad Dwarf. That's the Elegans female. That's a mutant version. That's the mutant of the mature male. I'm guessing it's some type of different morph, but it's the same species. C.elegans spiraling. That's what a spiraling looks like. Leetsy. Pretty cool. Leetsy mature male. C.perezmiliesi mature male. You can see that it has tibial hooks and bulbous palps. Okay, this one here is a C.perezmiliesi, as you saw, my female from Bolivia. So we call it the Peruvian Dwarf. And here's a poorly struck specimen. Pretty much the same species. This is the Cyriocosmus rite from Peru. So it's the Peruvian Dwarf. This is a rite mature male. Oh, that looks nice. That's very good looking. Kind of reminds me of a pokey. This is the female rite. Wow. I gotta get some of this next time I go to Tarantula, Canada. This one here is a Celadus. That's the mature male. Female. Kind of looks like a darkened C.perezmiliesi, if you ask me. Celadus. Spiraling. Found in Brazil, Peru. Leetsy, Venezuela. Oh, that looks pretty interesting. Species French Guiana. Kind of looks like a C. rite a little bit. By Johann Tascon. This is a specimen. And finally the Venezuelensis from Venezuela. So yeah, they pretty much all have the heart-shaped abdomen, and some of them have different carapace patterns. So that's pretty interesting to note. So now I'm going to go ahead and pronounce the genus name and the species. Could be very taxing, but it's pretty easy once you think about it. Okay, so this is how we pronounce the Cyriocosmus. Well, Cyriocosmus. And now the species. Birthday, so it's kind of like saying birthday, but you're not sounding the H. Chikoi, like Chi-Chi from Dragon Ball Z. I watched that. Well, used to anyway. Elegans, Leetsy, C.perezmiliesi, Rite, Celadus, Leetsy, Venezuela, because it's a different species in a different area. C species French Guiana, so this is a French Guiana variety, as I've shown you in the pictures. And this one is kind of a little harder to pronounce. This one is the Venezueliensis. Yeah, that one's a little taxing, but as you can see, it's not bad. Now, you're probably wondering and asking yourself why don't I have any common names besides these species? Well, okay, to be honest with you, I don't even know half of these common names, because about 90 to 99% of the time, most of these common names are actually made up. Basically, you can just say dwarf tiger rump and maybe say, okay, this is from Bolivia, so you can say, okay, Bolivian tiger rump. C.elegans, you can say, okay, Trinidad dwarf or Trinidad dwarf tiger rump and something like that. It's like, I really don't want to go into too much of this because it's very confusing, and it's probably not a good idea because you could probably mix up a species. In certain cases, common names will probably be useful. Let's say if you're talking to someone who doesn't know about tarantulas, like your parents, and they'll probably ask yourself, like, hey, what's a C.elegans? And they say, okay, it's a Trinidad dwarf tarantula. Say, oh, okay, I understand. But in the hobby, when you're talking to tarantula enthusiasts, it's probably best to keep an eye on these scientific names, because when you look at one, you probably know exactly what it is, and from these videos, you probably know exactly how to take care for it, because most of the species in the same genus can be cared very similarly to each other. But I will also include the common names whenever it's appropriate. So for this species and genus name, the scientific names are probably the best way to go by them because you don't want to mix them up. Okay, so now about the availability, sizes, mature males, and their growth rates. Okay, so availability, you can find these in online dealers. Pet stores will very rarely or almost non-existently carry this species unless it's some rare chance that you actually find one in a pet store. So you're going to have to resort to going on to your online dealers. So a lot of people have asked me where to buy teas, and these are places where I think are best places. So there's probably a lot more dealers, and these are the ones I'm very familiar with. So in Canada, like myself, I recommend buying from Tarantula Canada, Martin and Amanda, who I'm good friends with them for the past 4 years. Avery's Exotics from Dave Avery, he operates in British Columbia. Don't have any personal reviews since I never bought from him because shipping is a bit too expensive for where I am. Or I can just go to Tarantula Canada and get shipping free because they're 20 minutes away from where I live. Then for the US, you have Jamie's Tarantulas, you have Swift Inverts, Ken the Bug Guy. It's probably the best one because he has a lot of variety. So does Swift Inverts. You can also visit Rob C's site. He has some teas that are for sale. Then for the UK, the spidershop.co.uk and the Virginia Cheeseman are recommended dealers. Then you also have the Arachnoboards forum. That's also a great way to get into to buying stuff in the for sale and trade section. You can go, there's a forum for Canada and there's a forum for Europe. So I'll go show you exactly how to join these forums if you're a Canadian and don't know how to get into these forums. Okay, so here's the Arachnoboards. I'm on my account right now. These are all the specimens that I currently own, as seen on my channel page. So, this is how you do it. So you make up an account, it's very easy, it's free. So you click join groups from permission groups. And you go to the one secondary. So European, all you have to do is just join the group, click it, and a moderator, Lopez and Sultan, will accept you. And that's how you do it. Very simple. Alright, so these are the costs of ownership for these species. So I mainly went to Tarantula Canada and Ken the Bug Guy to get all these prices. So Berthae generally go for around $25 as a half an inch. It's also called the Rio Branco Dwarf from Kelly Swift Inverts. C.elegans, about a quarter inch, goes for $30 at TC. So does Leetsy, $100 for an inch, which is almost full grown. C.perezmiliesi here go for around $25 for half an inch. C.retai, which is the Peruvian Dwarf, about a quarter of an inch, goes for $25 at Kelly Swift's. TC has Saladas going for $35 for a quarter inch. Venezuela about an eighth of an inch, so that's really small. So that's 12.5% of 2.5 centimeters. So that's probably about half the size of my pinky fingernail. That's really small. Then species French Guiana, it's not in the hobby yet in Canada, and Venezuelensis goes for around $15 for an eighth of an inch. Personally, for my specimens, I always tend to go half an inch and bigger because quarters to around an eighth of an inch are extremely hard to take care of. Now, as I said, mature males will possess tibial hooks as well as they'll have bulbous palps like all mature males do. Growth rate, they're very fast growing. They can probably mature out in 1 to 3 years if well cared for. So now about the enclosure setups. Well, how do you house a 2.5 inch specimen? Well, it's pretty easy. So I'll show you my C.elegans, the Trinidad Dwarf. She is around an inch. She's most comfortable in a pill jar. Next time she molts, I'm going to upgrade her into a 16-ounce deli cup. So all I did is cover more than halfway of eco-earth, because these are burrowing species and they like to burrow. And this is the C.perezmiliesi that you saw in the other video. An adult C.elegans will be perfect in here. You don't need to go for critter keepers or 2-liter shoebox enclosures. This is just more than enough. So like I said again, there's nothing really special about the decor, just eco-earth and my female burrow down. Oh, she's right there. Yeah, she's got a little burrow for herself, so it's probably not the best display tease that you can find. But anywho, that's it. Now about the care sheet of these species. They're very easy to take care of. So they do well in temperatures between 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 24 to 26 degrees Celsius. So that's pretty much slightly above room temperature. So pretty much if you're comfortable with the temperature in the room, so will the tea. For your humidity, it's probably best to put it around 80%, making sure that the substrate is slightly moist, because you probably won't be able to offer a water dish for the species because they really don't grow very big. So personally, just keep it moist. It depends on how you mist them. This mine right here hasn't been misted for over a week, so it's still pretty moist in there, and they'll do fine on that. So a lot of people have asked me how I control the temperature of the room. I use this ceramic here by Holmes, which was around $30 at your local hardware store like Home Depot. Pretty affordable. As you can see, I don't use any heat mats because they're dangerous for the teas, and also because I use like utilitarian enclosures, like shoebox enclosures, so they'll melt the plastic and pretty much ruin your tea. So that's definitely not good. So the temperament. Well, the temperament of Cyriocosmus species are pretty much not very aggressive per se, but they're very skittish. As you saw one of my elegans in an old video, I don't really remember because I post a lot of videos, they dart and they dart fast. So it's probably not a good idea to handle this species at all. But they're pretty much easy enough for a beginner, but just because of their speed, I probably recommend it for someone who's a little bit more experienced. So it's pretty much suitable for the intermediates owners. After owning like Rosea, B. Smithy, then GBB, Nondochromatus, and you could probably handle a Cyriocosmus just fine. Now about breeding. Well, I found this awesome site on Arachnoboards. I'm going to put this on the video description. From one person well documented their breeding project with Cyriocosmus elegans, and it was very easy. They mated them once, and a sac developed in around 3 to 5 weeks. That's really fast if you ask me, considering my P. regalis took around 3 to 5 months before she pulled a sac, and they're very slow to develop. Slings generally are around the 100 mark, and they're very small, about 1/8 of an inch. That's our typical size of a sling. So I'll show you on Arachnoboards where I saw this. So you can note the incredible size of a mature female and a mature male. You can see that's about half the size. So you can see a deli cup is just more than enough space for one. That's a small egg sac. And if you saw that that little speck on the guy's hand, that's a sling. Believe it or not, about 1/8 of an inch. That's incredibly small. It's well documented by Jmugleston, so I'll put this on the video description so you can read it for yourself and enjoy. Really interesting. Cool. And what else I have to say? Recommendations? Certainly a must-have if you're collecting. If you're an avid collector, I highly recommend getting the C.elegans because it's probably one of the most popular members. The C.riti and the C.perezmiliesi. That's probably the top 3 favorites of this genus that I like. So pretty much, very easy to take care of. Just be wary of their speed. They're fairly good eaters. C.elegans, at least my specimen anyway, hasn't been eating too much, but I'm figuring that she must be in pre-molt, because she hasn't been featured in a couple of feeding videos, at least, so I think she might be getting ready to molt, but she probably is going to grow another ½ inch to 3/4 inch, and that's it. So then I'll move her to a deli container when that happens. So that's pretty much all I have to say about the Cyriocosmus species. Hope you like it, everyone, and enjoy it. So I'll end the video by showing Zelda's sack. Right now it's going on to the 3rd week mark. Rob C told me to pull this out on day 35, and that's probably what I'll do. And yep, she's guarding it, just like a mother. Very happy with her. And my P. Metallica is sure busy. Yeah, it's confirmed female. Awesome. So, thanks for watching, everyone, and hope you enjoyed the video. So next Mythbuster video will be a old world, and I promise us quite a lot, actually, to go over the orthognathnous species, mainly the O.aureotibilias. It's pretty much like a haplopalma. Okay, this sucks, and I regret to inform you that we'll not do the Mythbuster video on the orthognathnous O.aureotibilias. You can mainly see the one I did on the haplopalma species, like the H.lividum, Tarantula Mythbuster video 6, because these are pretty much identical. Unfortunately, Ophilia had passed away. I'm pretty sure that it might have been due to old age, since she was a full-grown adult female. And yeah, that really sucks. Around 4.5 inches, and exactly you can care for it for like a haplopalma. Just make sure that for these species you have to keep them well humid and provide a lot of substrate for it to burrow. As you can see, you had a elaborate burrow. And yeah, pretty much it. Alright, so that sucks, but anyway, I hope you enjoy this video for what it was. And we'll touch over the Monocentropa species, mainly the Lambertoni, since I own one.